Hello and welcome to the third episode of the Shungoku Satsu Film Club podcast. Can't believe we managed to do this three times now, and it's almost on a this will probably go up February, which means it will be on a weekly or a monthly basis with no consistent scheduled upload. Anyway,
I like
I'm
your implication that you're talking to people
I am
instead
talking to
of
people.
just
It's gonna be
to
me 2 years
ourselves.
later. Um,
Yeah.
so for this podcast episode, hi, I'm Ladnie. We've got we decided to make our profile pictures on the screen be different Viper album covers. I decided to choose "Fuck the World, It Ain't Real." I bend the spoon with my mind because it's the most absurd title that he's got. Besides, why the fuck is Tibet still ain't free? Um, and today I did nothing besides I picked up the my dog has a prescription of Apoquil, and I went to the vet and handed the person behind the counter a credit card, and she didn't know what to do with it, so it was a fun time. Uh, all right, next Connor, what'd you do today?
Uh, I have been home sick. I bailed out of work. I have put off doing my schoolwork all day, stuff that is due tonight, and then I may consider emailing my teacher about it and being like, "Hey, professor, will not say your name. What if I just turn it in tomorrow because I've been nothing but sick all day?
What is your album
Uh,
cover, by the way?
Fuck Earth, I'm going waging in a stellar war.
No, that's not what the album cover says.
But that's the name of the album is
That
Fuck
is
Earth,
what,
I'm
that is
gonna
what the album
waging
is
in a
called,
stellar
but it's
war.
wrong. All right, Spoid,
The
what'd
album
you do
cover
today?
is I'm gonna fly to that Isarlan fortress.
I woke up at quarter after
About noon.
four. A quarter after
Oh.
four. What did I do? I got on grounded, and then I ate, and now I'm here.
What's your album cover?
The third impact.
All right, Keaton, what'd you do today?
I ate a cheese pizza.
Holy
It was
shit.
good.
It was just cheese.
Well, there's also green peppers and pepperoni and onion.
So you ate a supreme pizza.
I suppose you could call it that. But it also had cheese.
Okay.
That's the main selling point.
Okay, and what is your album
I think you can read that for yourself.
cover? All right. So last week was it last week? It was last week. We're recording this a full week after we watched it instead of the day after like we usually did. So
Yeah.
last week we watched Kung Fu Hustle. Um, and I don't think anybody here can really remember what happened. I remember what. Well, Kane, do you remember what happened in it?
There was kung fu.
And
Yeah.
they hustled.
Okay. So we're gonna have the Wikipedia article open the entire time, um, just so that way I
Just
don't
read the
forget.
Wikipedia article and call it a day.
So
Read it, and
Oh, I
like
remember that
no
part.
commentary on the movie besides what it says in the word
yeah,
for
the
word.
Wikipedia articles. I mean, the real issue of this is that I had to pronounce stuff in Chinese the whole time. Um, this is our first film that we've watched that's in a different language, and we're probably going to be like one of the few that we watch that are in a different language. Because every time that we go to pick a new movie, somebody's like, "I don't want to watch something in subtitles," and I don't know what to tell them. All right, Kung Fu Hustle. In Chinese, it just literally means kung fu, is a 2004 martial arts action comedy film directed, produced, and co-written by Stephen Chow, who also stars in a
Yep,
leading
yep,
role,
man.
alongside Kwang Shongyi, Yuan Hua, Yuan Chu, Danny Chan Kwok Kwan, and Leung Sung Leung in prominent roles. The story revolves around a murderous neighborhood gang, a poor village of unlikely heroes, and an aspiring gangster's fierce journey to find his true self. The martial arts choreography is supervised by Yuan Wu Bing. Um, the film was a co-production between Hong Kong and mainland Chinese companies and filmed in Shanghai. After the commercial success of Shaolin Soccer, which was Stephen Chow's previous film, its production company Star Overseas began to develop the film with Columbia Pictures Asia in 2002. It features features a number of retired actors famous for 1970s Hong Kong action cinema, and has been compared to contemporary and influential wuxia films such as Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and Hero. The cartoon special effects in the film, accompanied by triple Chinese music, traditional Chinese music, are also cited as its most striking features. So we all liked this movie. right?
Yes, it
It
I
was
was
very
a
much enjoyed
very
it.
enjoyable film.
it wasn't even like Real Steel last time. If we were all watching that in individual rooms by ourselves, I think half of us would have turned it off. But
We
All
kinda
of us
had
were
to
watching
make
it
it
in individual
entertaining.
rooms by
I
ourselves. We just happened to be on the phone.
you know what I mean. Uh, but
Checkmate,
if we were
idiots.
locked in a cell at Guantanamo Bay and the only thing that was in our cell was a TV and a
Now,
DVD
why
of
did you bring up Guantanamo Bay with everything
Bring
happening in
it
the
back,
political
man.
sphere?
get it back, waterboarding at would you rather get waterboarded at Guantanamo Bay or have to watch Real Steel at Guantanamo Bay?
You know how much fun waterboarding at Guantanamo Bay is if you don't know or sounds if you don't know what waterboarding or Guantanamo Bay are?
Yeah,
That
so
does
if you
sound
get
a lot of fun.
I mean, like, let's say you're stuck next to like the leader of Al Qaeda in your cell, and he's like, "I want to watch Real Steel," and you're like, "No,
No, please.
please."
I'll
Take
take
it
the
back.
picture, please.
So the plot summary for this film is going to be kind of hard to do because it's so. First off, I don't know the names of any of the characters.
I don't
Um,
think they ever state any.
I
yeah,
remember the
Except
landlord.
for
the
There were
landlady
titles
and
of
the
the
Stephen Chow's
main
landlord.
character.
They
protagonists.
mostly had titles, right, rather than
Yeah.
anybody else, except for the protagonist, who was somehow named Singh, despite never being called Singh for the whole movie. So, like, I don't know. I guess we should get into our plot summary part. I guess we've like managed to like roughly hash out like a system for the podcast where we sit and we talk about nothing for 5 minutes and then we actually do the thing. So, Kung Fu Hustle is a very hard film to explain. I probably should not have picked it for the podcast, but whatever.
Watch the
Um,
damn movie yourself.
watch the damn movie yourself. So,
Go out and watch it.
it takes place in southern China in the 1940s, although it doesn't have any mention to World War II or anything in it, so I don't know if it's like the early 40s or the late 40s. I mean, it doesn't matter because there'd still be a war going on because the Chinese Civil War ended in 49. Anyway, it takes place in southern China during the 1940s, and the opening scene is this like really funnily paced like I don't know. It's like it begins in this like police station.
Police precinct.
Precinct is probably the better word for it. And they're it's just a bunch of guys like all staring in the same direction as you hear somebody getting the shit kicked out of them in the distance. And then like the camera pans up onto a sign that says Super Crime Fighters, and you're like, "Oh, these must be our good guys." And then a dude gets thrown across and breaks his spine on the fucking sign, and you're like, "Oh, never mind." So some guy gets thrown up against the sign, and a gang leader who is apparently the leader of the crocodile gang shows up and he goes, "Hey, I don't want you messing with our guys anymore. I'm in charge here." And he goes, "Okay, we'll leave you alone." And the police officers say that, and then they go outside. And the moment that they go outside, the entirety of the Axe Gang, which important, like you don't really figure this out unless you like know what they're talking, because the Crocodile Gang leader speaks Mandarin, which is the Northern Chinese dialect, and all the members of the Axe Gang speak Cantonese. So he's like way out of his league in Southern China, right? Um, so they go outside and like, oh shit, it's the Axe Gang, and there's like thousands of members of the Axe
Like,
Gang in
they
the
cover the
street.
entire street.
Like,
Effectively, the Taiping Rebellion condensed into the Axe Gang.
I don't think they're all
And they
Christian.
didn't even like show up. They just spawned.
Yeah, they just
But it's
appeared.
true.
The Crocodile Gang and his group, the Crocodile Gang leader and his group of people are like walking out, and they're like, "Oh, well, we're gonna run this city now." And he's got this like lady that he's ogling over while she's walking outside, and they go, "Okay,"
Presumably his wife or a
or
harlot.
or something like that. Um, and he's
I mean, it's China.
and then
They were known for their concubines.
I don't think at this time, maybe
I
I
don't
don't
know. It's the
Uh,
40s.
It's the
Weirder
40s.
shit was happening in China at this time.
So they're walking out, and the Axe Gang shows up, and the leader of the Axe Gang, who I don't think even has a name, it's brother Sum,
Some.
brother Sum, that's it. Um, so brother Sum shows up, and he goes, "There's a good joke in it that you don't get unless you know it in Chinese, because in the subtitles to it, brother Sum says like along the lines of like, oh, your guy, all of your guys ended up joining my gang while you were messing with the cops, right?" But what he actually says in Chinese is all of your guys learned Cantonese, right? Which is just a joke because he's the Southern Chinese gang and they're all Mandarin. Which is it's just saying, oh look, they joined your gang, blah blah blah. Anyway, I'm not gonna point out all the translation jokes. So they murder.
I'm
They
glad you
murder.
know Chinese, Adam.
No. um. So they murdered the crocodile gang leader by throwing an axe and cutting his leg off. And then
N-
there's the good image. There's the gif of it. I don't know. It was a meme a while ago of like the axe gang leader Butter Sum being handed an axe and he just dances over to him while he's like begging
Yeah,
for his life on the floor, which is really funny.
you can't
He
waste good
can't
meat in this economy.
like the funniest part is like when he tries to like beg for his life and he just goes, "Don't you remember that we ate dinner together one time?" And he just immediately gets hacked to death. And
It must have been a pretty bad dinner.
it must have been really bad.
You
Um,
got food poisoning.
the crocodile gang leader's wife, Floozy, I don't know. She's like, "Please don't kill me." And Brother Sum says, and I think in Chinese he actually says, "My axe doesn't kill women, so you're free to go." And then he gets a shotgun and shoots her.
As she's trying to go away.
As he's trying to go away, he just picks up a shotgun and blasts her against the floor. Um, and then we're
That's what I
treated to
call back
this.
shots.
No. And then we're treated to this really good sequence that explains that the axe gang are the guys that are in charge of southern China, where it begins with Brother Sum dancing of an axe on on a dance floor in his like base of operations, and then you get these photos of like people who are presumably other gang leaders just getting murdered, right? It's like crime scene investigations. They all get killed with axes or shot or whatever, and then it's the whole gang. By the end of the whole montage of photos and whatever, it's the whole gang just dancing together, and it's a pretty cool. It's a pretty cool way of entering the film. Um. Anyway, so then out of nowhere, what's supposed to be like a cool crime drama. The big thing about Kung Fu Hustle that it's a big game of guess the protagonist
Yeah.
because they keep introducing characters, and you're like, "That's him," and you're like, "No, we lied." Um. So we get introduced to Pigsty Alley, which is a small slum on the outside of wherever it's supposed to be. I don't know. What does Wikipedia have to say? Shanghai. There we
I
go.
know.
Shanghai. There we go. Um, so Shanghai, there's this neighborhood on the outside of it, called Pigsty Alley, and we're introduced to a group of characters that are all together. There's the landlady of Pigsty Alley. There's the landlord of Pigsty Alley, who are both married, and the landlord's this sleazy scumbag, and the landlady's this loud, angry woman. And then there's a guy who makes donuts, which I'm sure he doesn't actually make donuts, but I don't know what they're called in Chinese.
Well, his name is Donut.
His name is Donut. There's a guy
Yeah,
named
isn't he the tailor?
the tailor is the tailor. I think that's just his
Oh.
name. I mean, let me see. Yeah, his name is just Taylor.
Oh.
And then there's Coolie, which is not a term that I want to repeat again, so I'm just gonna call him Kung Fu Guy.
Why? What does it mean?
It's a slur.
Oh, I see.
It's not truly. Well, it is. Depending on how you use it. In this case, I'm sure it's fine for me to say it, but like I don't wanna. It's essentially a term for like a Southeast/East Asian worker that's like unskilled. But
Oh
it's
yeah,
typical.
non-skilled native labor in India, China, and some other Asian countries.
Yeah, and I'm not. It's got some bad connotations to it. And then there's
We'll assume you mean coolie, COULEE, as in a lava flow.
CeeLo.
CeeLo Green. That's how we will be
I
calling him
think
for the
you're
rest of the
cheating,
film.
CeeLo.
I think
I
you're
remember
cheating.
when. I
sir.
remember when. I remember when. You can't just
I wish I
talk
was a little
over.
bit taller.
Which
It's
was
really
a
Oh no, it's
baller.
good,
Skilo.
Is it Skilo? No,
Yeah, I'm
it's
thinking of.
CeeLo. Yeah, you're thinking
I'm
of
thinking of a
Skilo.
Skilo is, I
Skilo.
wish it was a little bit
Yeah,
taller.
that's how I just
or
started
taller. I
singing.
wish I had a girl who looked good. I would call her.
The
Wish I
guy
had a
who
rabbit,
played,
a bat,
and then there's
and a
another
hat and
guy.
some
So there's a
cornflower.
barber in Pigsty Alley, and I don't even know what his. I don't think he ever has a name. He's a barber, and the whole joke of his is that he has his ass hanging out for the entire movie, because he gets like. He has shampoo in his hair constantly, and he has his ass hanging out because the beginning of the film he gets cut off while he's taking a shower. So he's just I don't know. It's very hard to explain these jokes. You just kind of have to watch them and see them. But
You had to be there, man.
you had to be there. It's like
had to be
Woodstock
there.
or the Denny's Grand Slam. Um,
What the
uh,
fuck is up, Denny?
what's up, Denny's? What's up? Circle Pit. Um, so I don't think the barber really has a name, but he's kind of introduced to be. You think he's your main character the first time, and then it's not. But so there's the landlady shows up, and then our real protagonist, which we won't figure out until like halfway through the film, is there's these two guys. His name is Singh, and this guy's name is Bone. Bone is a fat guy. Singh is played by Stephen Chow, and they show up, and Bone is masquerading as the boss of the Axe Gang, and he goes into the barber's shop, and he goes, "Hey, I need you to get my guy a haircut," and he goes, "Okay," and the barber gives him a really really good haircut, and um gives him a really really good haircut, and Singh goes, "Holy shit, dude, you can't give him a haircut that's that good. He'll just look like a businessman. He needs to look tough. Give him a bad haircut." And he goes, "I don't care." And it's like, "Are you trying to extort me out of money?" He goes, "Yes, that is exactly what I'm trying to do." So everybody in the town, as if they see that the barber is having trouble, shows up, and they're like, "We're gonna fight you." And the best part is like he goes, "Which one of you want to die?" And they all step forward. Um, and like he makes the joke where it's like, "Okay, I'm gonna fight all of you, but none of you can cheat." And he's like, "How about you, skinny man?" And the guy stands up, and he's like 9 feet tall. And he goes, "What did I say about cheating?" And he sits back down. And there's like he picks like an old guy, and he goes, "I'm gonna fight you." And he steps out from the crowd, and he's like buff as hell, and he goes,
Fucking
"Never mind,
rip.
go back down." And then he goes, "I'm gonna fight you," and he points out this little kid, and the kid is more ripped than the old man was. He gets
He's
the
just a super buff kid.
he gets the shit kicked out of him by a little like a farmer lady. So they leave town, but as they
No,
leave,
no. The
no, that's
first
right,
one he engages
yeah,
with
is
is
the
the farmer
farmer
lady, and
lady.
she just beats the fuck out of him.
And he goes,
And then
"Okay, I
they
don't fight women anyways. You can go back." That's right. Um, but then so he goes, "All right, I'm gonna call for backup," and he sets off a flare gun that goes in the air and then sets the actual like local leader of the Axe Gang's hair on fire as he's walking around the corner. And they go, "Don't worry, we're on your side. One of them shot the flare," and then they run away. Right? And the X Gang members are like, "Oh my god, okay, we'll show them what's for," and they gather everybody together, and they take a family, and they start to like pour a bunch of kerosene on them to set them on fire, right? And as the what is it? What How does it go? It's well, first off, that's not right. Because first off, the leader of the Ice King gets his shit kicked in. He gets like crammed into a barrel by somebody who you don't see in the back, like just so fast that you don't even see it, right?
Yeah.
Um, but like I don't remember what he was going to do. He was gonna punch the barber, right? And then the
Yeah,
Axe Gang,
so
yeah.
they were pouring the gas or whatever on the kid and the mom, and then the barber stepped in to like stop them with the lighter, and then Mr. Som or Brother Som was going to throw
Well,
a
brother
punch at the
Sum wasn't
barber.
there though.
Oh wait, wasn't he?
It was like another guy. It
no.
was like a second in
It
Oh,
was
okay.
command.
Then,
yeah, it was
then
just
whoever the other
random
guy was.
dude.
Okay. Then he went to throw. Oh yeah. Then that guy went to throw up. No.
The barber goes to throw a punch at him, and then he gets crammed into a barrel by somebody you don't see off in the distance. You're like, "Damn."
Yeah, and he gets yeah, the boss got paralyzed, and then
Yeah,
Brother Som eventually just took over.
I don't know, but he gets
No,
fucking
Brother
crammed.
Thumb never takes over.
Brother Sun was always the guy in charge. It's just I don't know who this dude's supposed to be.
Yeah, he never takes over. He was always there.
Um, but
I
according
just assumed the fat guy was the boss because they had the fat guy play as the boss,
probably I don't know, but he gets crammed into a barrel by somebody off screen. You're like, "Damn, I guess this barber's really good at kung fu," and then they go to throw the gas on the two kids, and then they're gonna throw the lighter on it, and then out of nowhere, the character Cooley walks in and he grabs the fucking light.
Can't believe you said it
I
again.
know,
What the
right?
hell,
He
man?
catches the
Said you
lighter.
wouldn't.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm racist. We established this in the first episode. Uh, so he catches the lighter out of midair, and they go, "Oh my god!" And they go, "Are you gonna fight us?" And he goes, "Yes." And this is where we discovered that the guy is like a kung fu master, and he's got like what, like the 12 kick style or whatever. What does it
Yeah,
say?
something like that.
The Ton Tui 12 kicks technique from the Tom School. Um, and he
Honestly, I don't
and
think it would be any worth describing this scene. I would just say
Yeah,
Go watch the
so they
film.
We
start
watched a clip and
Watch the
just
movie.
forget about this.
yeah, so they get into a fight. Um, the kickmaster kicks the shit out of people, and then people get thrown into the tailor's shop, right? And the tailor is when the tailor is introduced, they do this really cool thing where the camera is way above him, showing the metal rings that are on like the wire the racks that he uses to hang up all the stuff that he's like sewing. And he gets a guy, like a criminal gets thrown through the window of his establishment. And the criminal starts trying to attack him, and he just goes, "Oh!" And he breaks down the rings and he puts them on his arms, and like the whole thing of it. I don't know if this is like an act. I know it's a big thing in like wuxia like novels and stuff like that, where if you put a bunch of rings on your arm, like when you throw a punch, it moves all the rings forward and makes your punch stronger or whatever because of whatever, and you can block stuff with them. So that's Taylor's ability. He's got the iron wire fist like technique, and he's just punching the shit out of people, right? And then the guy who's making donuts, the rolling pins that he uses are actually like the shafts of spears, and he beats the shit out of people. Like you have to see this scene because it's really really good. And like for the beginning of the film, everyone was having a great time, and then I was just sitting there ready for them to go off, and then the moment that happens, I remember Keaton just went, "Holy shit!"
There
And
were a
like,
lot of holy shit moments.
there's a lot of holy
in
shit
this movie.
Oh yeah.
in this movie because it's just that whole scene is just you going, "God damn, God damn, God damn," because like
It just keeps building.
they do a really cool thing where like once Donut starts fighting with his spear shafts, they like everything goes into slow motion. You can see like how the shaft is bending and he's like whacking the crap out of people, throwing them around. But like Taylor's the best part because he's introduced as like this like effeminate gay man, and then he's by far the strongest member out of all of them,
Oh yeah.
and he's the best part. But yeah, like he's like the best part of the. I think he's my favorite of the three masters that live in Pigsty Alley. So they
I
beat
mean, the three initially introduced
the three
masters.
initial masters. Hold on, we'll get to that later. Um, so they uh they
As
beat
if
the
we're spoiling the movie that we already have seen for ourselves.
yeah, that's fair. So they beat the shit out of
The movie came out in 2004. If you
the
haven't
movie came out in
watched it, it's
2004. It's
your
it's
fault.
over 20 years old. So they beat the shit out of all the Axe
Shut
Gang
up. Don't
members.
remind me.
Um, they beat the shit out of all the Axe Gang members, which means that you know they all retreat from the town, but they manage to find Singh and Bone, the two guys who tried to scam the barber at the start, and they kidnap him and like hold him for ransom. And they're like, "Hey, what we need you to do is we'll let you live, and we'll even let you join the gang because you can pick locks, and that's really cool because you got out of the
Well, they
chains
try
that
and
you were
kill
held
him
in."
first,
They try to kill
and
him
then
first, and then he gets out of the locks and like,
yeah,
shit, he can pick his locks.
they
That means he's
almost
cool.
he almost instantly picks his lock.
Yeah, and he's like, all right, we can use him for something later. But what we need you to do is we need you to kill one of the people who insulted us, right? So they go to kill the landlady who lives in Pigsty Alley, and we don't talk about her much, but like she's an important character. She appears a lot because like there's the part where she's yelling at the Axe Gang when they first show up in Pigsty Alley, and they tell her to like shut up or like was it one of them throws an axe at her and she and like yelling die, and she catches it out of midair and goes die my ass and throws it back down at him. Um, and she's just constantly yelling and screaming, and she's got a cigarette in her mouth all the time, and that's kind of a hint about her martial arts powers are. But they go, okay, we need you to go assassinate the people that are in Pigsty Alley, and then we'll let you join the gang. So they show up, Singh and Bond do, and Singh Singh just starts trying to throw knives at the landlady, and he misses all of them, and they end up stuck inside of him. So he gives one of them to Bone to throw at her, and Bone winds up way too far and stabs him in the shoulder. And then he gets bitten by snakes that Bone tries to throw at the landlady, and he's just like, "Please, just stop. Let's go
Give
home."
up.
And then the landlady notices them, and they start to run away. And there's this really good sequence where the landlady and Sing are running like the fucking Roadrunner from Looney Tunes. So like they just have this really long race through like the country town, and it's pretty fun. There's a really good joke in it where Sing is being chased by the landlady, and she's right up on his tail, and he looks at like one of the knives at his shoulders, like a rear view mirror, and he starts running faster. This is also a scene that you just need to watch because otherwise it doesn't make any sense when describing it. A lot of this movie doesn't
Yeah.
make sense when you watch it, which means you're probably gonna have to just describe. We're gonna have a long section at the end describing what we liked about the film. Otherwise, it's just gonna be long and boring. Um, so afterward, um, afterward, Bone is like, we still need to assassinate, somebody there, or else we'll get killed by the Axe Gang. And Sing's like, don't worry, I know kung fu. And Bone goes, what? And he goes, listen, when I was a kid, this guy came up to me and he said that I had the makings of a martial artist, a master martial artist, kung fu master is what I mean to say. And all it was going to take was me reading and studying this pamphlet for the Buddhist palm technique, and then I gave him all my money, which was $10 to get the Buddhist palm technique, and I practiced it, and I tried to save my friend from being bullied, and then they beat the shit out of me, and then pissed on me.
They sure did.
And that's a great part where they beat him up, and then as he's down on the ground, they just all piss on him. And there's a part later on in the film where they have a flashback to that scene again, and instead of it just being him being beaten up, they show the entire thing of him getting beaten up and then pissed on and then laughed at again. But there's this girl who has like a lollipop, and that's her whole thing. She's deaf, or she's dumb. That's right, she's mute. Um, and she can't talk, and that's why he's defending her because she's getting bullied. And this is kind of where we figure out that he's a good
He
person,
has a
but
crush on Helen Keller.
he has a crush on Kevin Keller. Um, so they go, okay, we'll go deal with them then. But while they're figuring out how to deal with the Axe Gang on their tail, the Axe Gang go and get two guys who can play the guzheng really really well. So there's these two like martial artists who are like, we're the second best killers in the world, but like we're not the best, but we don't know where the beast is anymore. So for right now we're the best you can get. So they're like, okay, we need you to kill these martial arts masters. And they're like, okay, we can go do that. So as the martial arts masters are going to go leave, Pigsty Alley, so that way they don't attract attention to the neighborhood, the Kickmaster, who I'm not going to say his name again, gets
The Kool-Aid Man.
the Kool-Aid Man. They're playing the guzheng like in the distance, right? And it's this little harp instrument, and they're just plucking away at it. And then as he's walking away, they play a chord on it that just shoots a sword through the air and cuts his head off. So he's dead. He's not dead now. That sucks. And then the other harp player, the other guzheng
Now we don't
master,
have to worry about you saying that
yeah, saying
word
his name
again.
anymore. The other guzheng master is in the tailor's shop, and he's like, "You do really good at your work. This is some fine fabric that you've got here." And he goes, "Yeah, it is." And then he starts trying to murder him mid conversation. So the tailor breaks down the rings again and starts kicking the shit out of him and throws him through a wall and whatever. But then they end up in the street, and the guzheng player is starting to swing swords at him. And this whole scene is really really cool because when they kill the kickmaster, you don't see that they're actually shooting swords. You don't know what's happening. It's just that things are getting cut in half and they're missing while they're trying to murder him while he's running away. Or he's not running, he's just walking. But the other two masters, because they're actually seeing what's being played, they can see like the invisible swords that are getting thrown at them. And then as they continue to play, like there's skeletons attached to the swords, and it's really stupid, but it's really really fun. Um, and that's probably a good way to explain the whole film. Is it's really really stupid, but it's really really fun. Um, so they start fighting off. They start like deflecting the swords of their like the um Taylor starts like deflecting the swords of his iron rings, but they start breaking. One arm breaks and then the other one breaks, and he's like completely defenseless. And then Donut shows up. Now he's got like the actual spears. He's attached the heads onto the poles, and he's like, "All right, we'll stop him." And he starts deflecting the swords out of midair, that are just song, like it's like just sound, and he's deflecting it with a spear, which is awesome. And they go on an all-out offensive to try and kill the guys, and it doesn't work. I don't remember what happens to Donut. I think he gets like cut in half. He gets fucked up. I know that for sure.
He
Um,
dies.
he dies, but Taylor's the one. Is it Donut or is it Taylor that survives to
They
talk to
both
the landlord?
technically survive, and
But
because
one
they're
dies and
both
isn't.
there getting recovered, but they both die shortly thereafter.
Yeah. Who remembers the rest of the scene? I gotta go do something.
Hold on, I've been zoned out. Where did we leave off?
We're talking about the
They,
fighting with the harps,
the
the
landlady
Boujon
and the
players.
landlord beat
Yeah,
the
they.
fuck out of the
Yeah,
Boujon
yeah, yeah,
players,
yeah, yeah. But
and
like, explain
then
how it starts, man. It's awesome.
oh well, okay. So the two guys get critically injured, and then right before the killing blow is delivered, the landlord and the landlady uh start making a ruckus, and this upsets the two people. It's kind of a continuing bit throughout the entire scene, if I remember correctly, that they're just trying to. The landlord is trying to get the landlady to shut the fuck up, but or maybe it's the other way around. No, the landlady's trying to get them to shut the fuck up, and the landlord's trying to get her to shut the fuck up. But the outcome is eventually they draw their attention, and so they go up there to try and kill him. And the landlord and landlady then proceed to beat the ever living hell out of their assailants. And I have to think about it. I mean, needless to say, it was totally badass.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
For sure. In the words of Keaton, just go watch the movie.
Yeah.
Watch the movie. Why are we even doing this?
Great question. Because that way, when we forget what the movie's about, we can come back in. Should we just completely throw away the entire movie thing while Ladnie's gone and then pretend like we were talking about it whenever he gets back? Just have a
Yeah.
deep philosophical conversation about the meaning of life and stuff.
What do you think the meaning of life is?
I think.
Uh,
Go ahead, Spud.
fuck. Fuck. What was that one super
42.
popular? No, it wasn't that. It was like getting money, getting pussy, and the Dewey Decimal System.
Dewey Decimal System.
Yeah.
What about you, Keaton? What's your meaning of life?
The meaning of life to me is starting a mutiny and turning my office building into a pirate ship.
I mean, fair enough. See, I understand the Crimson Permanent Assurance reference. You know Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
Mm-mm. Oh yeah, actually yeah.
Like
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
social and physiological and
The
all that.
physiological, yeah. There's only two needs on there, if you really think about it, right? Um, the only important physiological need is the innate need for human beings to evade taxation,
Yeah,
right?
I can get.
Everything else can be perfectly summed up with pirate ship.
Mm-hmm.
Um, no need for any of that other stuff on there. Self enrichment or whatever is at the top. No, pirate ship.
The pirate ship will give you all the self enrichment you want.
Exactly. It takes care of your affection needs and all in short pirate ship. And I think that we as a species are doomed to fail until we get on pirate ship.
When the sea levels rise, we will all build our own pirate ships and engage
One
in a
Piece,
useful
the dream of One Piece will finally be realized.
Exactly.
Are you saying the One Piece will be real?
Yes.
I see, I see.
We need to build Noah's Ark to find the One Piece. Only when we bring together all two animals.
Of every species. Do you reckon Noah's Ark like factored in bacteria and parasites?
I don't think so, because they're not really counted as animals.
Well, bacteria, sure, but parasites are, depending on the parasite.
Yeah.
There's
Like
probably a
tapeworms
couple.
are animals, right?
They were probably on board with some of the
Oh
things.
shit, you're right. Were there more parasites on board than there were supposed to be?
Oh, there very well might have been. Or maybe like they were like slight differences, and that's how we got the regional forms of the parasites.
Oh shit, you're right. You're right.
What if they accidentally got like two males of an animal and we just never knew what that species was?
It went
Clownfish.
extinct.
It could have been
Just
like
whoops.
pulled a clownfish and turned female.
No, what if that's why the clownfish can turn female?
Because there was 2 males. Holy shit.
Except for, do you really think they brought fish onto the boat
They had the nice big aquarium on there.
Yeah,
to
that could have been the
survive
aquarium.
to survive a flood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had those
Sorry.
little colorful rocks at the bottom, and they had a big
Freshwater fish can't
sand
survive in
castle
salt
for them
water.
to swim through.
Spoid, where do clownfish live?
That's not the point.
You came to the aquarium when you came down to visit us. They were in a very specific type of enclosure.
They live in the water type.
Yeah, they
The
do live
clown
in the water. What kind of water?
The wet kind.
The wet kind. This brings up an important philosophical debate. Is water wet?
Yes,
How do you come to that conclusion?
Squares
because
and
it's wet.
rectangles.
Because why?
When you touch it, it's wet.
Are you sure it's not just cold?
Um,
The human
What-
body can't tell the difference between cold and wet.
what about
This is
warm
true.
water?
Warm water? Is it just cold still?
No.
Because the warmest water we can feel is a gas. But that gas, when it
warm
comes
and
in
wet.
contact with our skin and forms droplets, is now cold, isn't it?
Well, answer me this: is water wet?
Well, yeah.
That's
Okay,
what we're
good.
talking about.
I'm just playing devil's advocate right now.
Okay.
Because honestly, I'm in the middle of writing, as we have discussed, a research paper, and I was kind of counting on Ladnie to just keep rambling. So his stepping off has been incredibly detrimental to my progress.
Maybe we
Do you
should
think
all
the
just
devil
leave.
has a lawyer?
The devil has a lawyer?
Do you
Well, you
think?
better have a really good one.
I mean, probably. But, well, actually, why would he need one?
Because he does sketchy shit, and someone's bound to sue.
He
How do you
made
mean?
me boil in a pit of sulfur for 100 years.
And that's just not fair.
No, it's not. All I did was not pay my taxes.
Because that's what heroes do.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the devil would agree with me.
Well, again, that brings us back to the Maslow's hierarchy of needs conversation. The lowest need on the hierarchy is the innate physiological desire to evade taxation.
Hmm.
What do you mean,
Hmm. Well, I want to
Hmm.
evade taxation.
You what?
I want to evade taxation.
Well, yeah, again, that's the basic physiological need. I might not agree with Maslow on everything because he is a humanist psychologist, not a behaviorist or something else, but by the large, he wasn't entirely wrong. He just put more steps in that were completely unnecessary. But that's okay.
What I really want is to pirate shit.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. And if you think about it, pirate ship kind of helps you with
Evading taxes.
evading taxes things. Yeah.
Because you
It's not
probably
like you're
don't have to
paying
pay
taxes.
taxes on a pirate ship.
Unless you're paying taxes to the pirate king.
Because, like,
And
how do you
then,
get insurance for a pirate ship?
well, and that's the question, right? Because you're innately doing something that, well, I suppose it depends on what you're doing with your pirate ship, don't it?
I guess so. But what
And
if you get, like, destroyed by a sea monster or a kraken or something?
well,
You
they're
better
not
have
real.
coverage. What if they are, though?
I've seen them.
What do you mean you've seen them? You live in a landlocked state.
Yeah, there's land versions. They're
Called
like mud skippers.
mud skippers. Do you have mud skippers
I've seen them
in a zoo?
in an aquarium in
The
Oklahoma.
aquarium that we went to.
Yeah.
Does anyone think Bigfoot is real?
Do you
I've
know
seen
it's
them.
illegal in the state of Oklahoma to harass Bigfoot?
I believe
That's
it.
good.
So clearly, since we have it codified in our laws, it must be real.
Yes.
Do you know in a couple different states it's illegal to chain an alligator to a fire hydrant?
Well, that sounds fair.
But I wonder
wouldn't
why it
have
has to
abandoned it.
be. Like, you figure that'd just be one of those things that everyone agrees on you shouldn't do. But
It
somehow,
wouldn't be nice for the alligator. That's for
no,
sure.
no, 100% not. But, I mean, you know, what can you do?
What can you do?
I can do a 60% backflip.
That's awesome.
How does that work?
He
I do
lands on his
60% of a backflip and then I land on my neck.
Oh. Well, that's
Well,
less than 60%.
No, I land on the front side of my neck. So I
Yeah,
do the
that's
flip,
less than 60%.
then I land on the back side of my neck.
I don't know that I understand you because
I don't remember.
you have
Okay, so
to like pull your head back. It'd be more like that chest area.
I did this. Wait, that's not how the neck bends. Yes, it is. Okay, so I did that, and I did that, and then okay, I did 40%. I can do a 40% backflip.
See, that's pretty impressive still, because that's still like 40%.
Yeah.
It's
more
not
like
like perfect by
30%.
any way, but okay. In a fit of irony, I'm looking through how to cite things for an APA format, and one of the articles they have as an example cited is what's the difference between Sasquatch and Bigfoot?
Hmm.
Well, what's the difference between an ox and a bull? It's like that.
But is Bigfoot not a Sasquatch?
I would assume Bigfoot has bigger feet than the Sasquatch.
I thought Bigfoot was a Sasquatch this entire time.
Maybe Bigfoot is like a Sasquatch that we just recognize, and a Sasquatch is the type of animal Bigfoot is.
That's what I mean, is that like Bigfoot is a named instance of a Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember where Sasquatch is real. I don't remember.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh no, Sasquatch, also known as Bigfoot.
Maybe Sasquatch is the Native American name for it.
I don't think that Bigfoot is founded in Native American. Maybe it is. Hold on. I may be about to be really wrong. Never mind. I'm not saying anything about him. It's just folklore. But I mean, there definitely were big monkeys, right?
Yeah.
There
Like
still
the
are.
what's the one that gets replaced?
Gigantopithecus?
Yeah, I was gonna say the one that gets replaced in the Jungle Book by what's his face singing that one song.
Yeah.
That took way longer than expected. Please tell me you just say a bunch of slurs.
We did not just say a bunch of slurs,
Where are we
but
at?
we
No,
did.
we got to the
Oh,
part where
we got to their death effectively, and
Okay.
how they were leaving off.
they were
the
killed.
the best part is the it's the talk about the Uncle Ben part.
No, we have not made it to the Uncle Ben with
Wait,
great power comes great
is it the
responsibility. Because
tailor that
honestly,
says it?
it's whoever is the one that's
Whoever
speaking. I think it was
whoever
the
one that
It
tailor.
was
survives.
Donut.
Is it Donut? It's Donut. You're right, because he says with great power comes great responsibility in Chinese, and then afterward he does the thing from the Untouchables where it's like, what are you prepared to do? And they go, what are you saying? Why aren't you speaking Chinese? Um, yeah. So Donut and Taylor are dead, but the landlord and landlady kicked the shit out of the Guzhong players. So what's now? So the members of the Axe Gang are like, all right, we'll let you into the Axe Gang, but you have to go let this guy out of prison.
No, no. Step one is kill someone. They go, you
When
need
he
to
kills
murder
someone,
someone.
which he just misses. He just doesn't do.
He never does it. Yeah.
Never kills
Already
anyone.
went over that, didn't
Or
we?
be like, good job, you did it. Okay, now go do this.
Well, it's because he robs a girl. He
Yeah,
robs the mute girl.
who he
Yeah.
doesn't recognize as his best friend or
Long
whatever.
lost lover.
Whatever.
I mean, they
Obviously.
kiss at the end of the film, so I'm
Kiss at
gonna
the end.
assume.
childhood
Really?
friend. I don't know. They do,
Well,
well,
no, childhood friends
they
though.
don't quite kiss, but they almost do. Anyway, um,
The tension is palpable.
the tension is palpable. That's a good way of phrasing it. So they're like, we need you to go get this guy out of prison because you can pick locks, right? So they take him to this maximum security prison, which is actually being guarded by the Boy Scouts of America. they
AKA
call them
British
they call them
people.
Boy Scouts, but I think they actually are supposed to be Boy Scouts, which is just
Well,
funny.
yeah, but they're just British.
Yeah, so they're the
So
British
it's just the
British
British
Scouts,
Scouts. Yeah.
but which is a really funny joke. So he breaks into this prison, and they're like, "By the way, we need you to go in here, but don't go this way. Don't go down this hallway. Go down this hallway." And they give him a map that's like impossible to read. And he's like, "Okay." And he manages to perfectly follow it. And when he walks down the hallway, and he's trying to break the beast right out of prison. The guy that the two Guzhong players said were like was the best guy in the world at killing people. So he's going to go break him out of prison, and he walks down the hallway and he sees like he has a hallucination of the door of the beast cell opening and like a torrent of blood coming out like in The Shining. And I remember we were watching that. I was like, "What is happening?" It's like, "Oh, it's The Shining." Because I remember somebody didn't get the joke. I don't know who
I
it
didn't get
was.
Yes, it was Spoid.
Spoid didn't get the joke. And like, there's a pretty good bit of foreshadowing where everything leading up, like, oh, there's just a bunch of frogs outside his jail cell, which won't make sense until later. But so he breaks into the beast's prison cell, and you think he's gonna be like this scary guy, but he's just sitting on the toilet reading a newspaper, and he's like, "Oh, hello." It's like, "What do you want?" It's like, I need you to come out of prison with me." He's like, "All right." So they take him to the Axe
Ugh.
Gangs. They take him to the Axe Gang headquarters. And like, "You're the number one killer in the world." He's like, "Yeah." And he goes like, "We need you to kill these two people." And he goes, are they good?" And they go, "Kinda." I'm like, "Okay, I guess I'll do it." And it's like, "How much do we need to pay you?" I was like, "I don't care as long as they're good."
I
And like,
fight to kill or die.
yeah, that's basically the beast. The beast's whole thing is that he wants to find the best fighter in the world to kill him because he doesn't. I don't know.
He's just tired of fighting, and
I
he wants a
guess.
challenge. Or rather, he's
Yeah, he
tired
wants a
of fighting people
challenge.
who are inadequate.
Yeah. Um. So they're like, "Okay, sure." And what is it? So they go like Sing walks up to him and he goes, "Are you really that good?" And he goes, "Yeah." And it's like, "Well, let me try." And he flicks him in the face and sprints to the other end of the room.
Hides
Right.
behind like a pillar or
Yeah, it's
something.
by the pillar. And they're like, "Well, he didn't even fight back. Come on." It's like, yeah. And somebody points a gun to the side of his head, like right up against his temple, and pulls the trigger and fires. And everyone's like, like the gunshot echoes through the room, and he just catches the bullet in between his fingers. It's like not only does he move faster than the bullet that's already pressed against his temple, he catches it too. And he's like, "Listen, I'm telling you, I'm the fastest there is, and that's all that matters in Kung Fu." So I don't remember what happens because I know how the fight starts. I just don't remember what causes it. I think they try to like attack him and he throws somebody through like a window into like the Axe Gang's like uh gambling hall, and everybody clears out except for the landlady and the landlord who are sitting in there gambling, and they're dressed up and they're clean and whatever, and they're it's a lot more apparent that they actually appreciate being near each other instead of kicking the shit out of each other like they were earlier in the movie. And they're like,
Yeah.
the Beast shows up and he goes, "Hey man, you guys the guys I gotta fight?" And like, "I think we are." It's like, "Okay, um, how good
How
are you?"
convenient that they were right next door.
It's like, "Well, how good are you?" I'm like, "Ah, we're pretty all right." I was like, "All right," and then they start kicking the shit out of each other. And like, think about the scene. Like, obviously, none of the people in here. It's hard to explain, but like the scene before, right, where the Guzhong players are trying to kick the shit out of the landlord, and they just can't do anything to him because they all keep getting deflected off of him, and the Beast just easily mops the floor with them. Like every time that they try to fight back, he just stops them dead in their tracks, and it's a they just it's a pretty cool fight where the landlady brings this Buddhist bell,
The
um,
death bell.
the death bell, right? She's like, "This is what you're gonna hear when you die," and he goes, "Oh, that sounds fun." She brings this big bell, and when they realize that they're actually losing like big time, they like crack open the top of the bell and start using it as a megaphone, and then she screams through it, and it like throws him against a wall and like breaks him against it, every bunch of shit. And he's like, "Oh my god, that's awesome! I didn't know you could do that." And they start screaming at him over and over and over until he like stops moving. And the gang members are like, "Oh my god, he's not that good at all." And he climbs back out. It's like, "All right," and he like cracks his knuckles. All right, let's go again. I don't remember what
Then he
happens.
turns into a frog.
Not yet. Um, so they kind of end up in a stalemate because neither of them can really beat because they're all both broken and battered.
Well, no, the ending of that fight is they are about to beat him, and then he cheats.
Kinda. So
No, definitely. He uses this stick thing. They get distracted by something,
oh yeah,
and then he uses
he's
that
got this like
stick thing
weird
to poke the both of them.
he's got this like weird
And
flower that like shoots poison darts and it gets them both. And it's like, God damn. And they get like they pass out or whatever, and then uh but Singh tries to fight the beast because he's angry that he's trying that he realizes that he's doing a bad thing, so he starts to fight the beast, and the beast just immediately starts like pounding him into the floor.
Like
And
his head
like
is
his
literally
head is
sinking into the
literally
ground with
stuck
every
into the
punch.
floor, and he's like, "Are you ready to stop?" And he goes up and he slaps him in the face, and he just keeps slamming him into the floor. And Brother Sum is like, "Why'd you let them? You know, like how'd you let him? And whatever." And like he goes to like he looks up and he's like, "Wait a minute, where are the masters?" And the masters are gone. And he looks down and Sing is gone. They just disappeared. And you're like, "What the fuck? How'd they get out of there?"
which is
So
a weird plot hole. The guy talks about how being fast is all that matters, and then it's somehow slower than all three of them.
they just
Keep in mind,
notice.
two of them are now critically wounded, and one of them is being dragged.
Yeah, I don't know. So well, he's not like super speed. It's just that he can react super fast.
I mean,
But
yeah, but in order to react super fast, you have to exercise
I
parts
don't know.
of super speed, do you not?
I don't know. I'm not
I don't know.
super
I'm not super
speed.
fast.
Yeah.
It's
Um.
how
Um.
to put it. It's just one of those things, you know?
Yeah. I don't know.
You had to be there.
You just
Okay, real
had to
quick.
be there. You just had to be
I need an
Wushu
opinion real quick.
master. Okay.
Do I want to actually read chapter 3 of my homework, or do I want to blindly guess all the answers and hope I get above an 80?
I would
Mm,
suggest
Keep in mind.
actually reading.
Keep in
uh,
mind that this is how the brain functions, and I have to commit to memory all of the illustrations of how the brain works.
I would actually do the reading.
But what if I didn't?
Well, how many tries do you get if you just randomly guess?
Infinite?
Well, then just do that. There you go.
Well, it's not random guessing,
Well,
but
it's not. It's
it's
educated
random
guessing.
guessing.
But
Yes. We
anyway,
talked about it in lecture first.
so Sing and the landlord and the landlady disappear, and Brother Sum is like, "Dude, how could you let them get away?" And the beast just goes, "Shut the fuck up!" and kills him. So brother, like
Yeah,
like
that's
when he punches him so hard,
one
like
of the
his neck
highlights of
spins
the
around.
film. Yeah, he just instantly kills the guy.
I don't think we've mentioned it so far, but Brother Sum has like the best way of talking.
Yeah,
Like
he sounds
he's
way too relaxed
he
for who he
speaks in
is.
this like really melodic tone, and it's really fun to listen to. And now he's dead. He's
I
with the
mean, it's
angels now.
melodic, but it's like flat at the same
Yeah,
time.
right.
It's very. It's like I don't know how to put it.
It's very hard to
Oh,
explain,
I'm getting
especially
a phone call.
because
I'll be
I
right back.
can't emulate it because I don't know Chinese. But anyway, so the landlord and the landlady bundle Sing up in a bunch of bandages and give him like traditional Chinese like herbs and medicines to make him heal faster. And the beast goes back to Pigsty Alley and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna kill everyone until they come out of hiding." Right? And while that's happening, Sing is inside the cocoon of bandages or whatever, and he's breaking out of it by like punching shit. And you're like, "Oh my god, he's already healed already. This is absurd. I can't believe it." And when the beast shows up with the rest of the Axe Gang, because he's now in charge because he killed Brother Sum, he's like, "All right, come on out, or I'll kill everyone." And they go to like break down the door of the landlord and landlady's apartment, and they're not in there. And Sing is in like a different part of the building, and he steps out. And Sing for the whole movie is wearing gray, Like that's like a part of it. Is like he's wearing like a gray jacket with a white shirt underneath it, and now he's wearing like a full like traditional Chinese. I don't know what it's called, but like a Chinese shirt with no. It's all white, right? It's a big thing to
Yeah,
say.
button up stuff.
Yeah, but it's like to signify that he's gone from morally gray to fully good, and um he steps out of the house, and the Axe Gang go, "Oh my God, there he is!" And they all gather around to start fighting him, and he just kicks the shit out of all of them. Like 40
Like a
guys like
badass.
surrounding him, and he's just like he doesn't even use his hands for a little bit of it. He's like just jumping on top of people. There's really good parts in it where this is probably the highest amount of holy shit in the film. Like
Yeah.
and like holy shits per minute, probably we're at like 8 or 6.
Pretty much anytime anything happened, we were like, holy
Holy
shit.
shit.
Holy
Shit.
shit.
Holy shit.
It just kept ramping up.
Yeah,
In
just
fact, if you're familiar with the band The Lonely Island and the song Jizz in My Pants, pretty much.
constantly. Um, but so he starts kicking the shit out of everybody, and it's awesome. It's really cool, and it's playing this like nice traditional Chinese music as he's doing it, and he's just wailing on people. And then the Beast goes, "God damn, he's awesome. I guess we're gonna have to duel now." So they go into one-on-one combat. I had something funny to say though before this. Um, yeah, so like there's a thing that like in all of the fight scenes, especially like the ones that are like hand-to-hand combat, like there's just a thing that happens where the film will always go into slow motion, and then you watch the guy like pick somebody up into the air and then combo them in midair as if they're playing a fighting game, and it's always the coolest part of all the fight scenes. 'Cause you're like, God damn, he's just doing it. And my favorite part of it about the fight scene with Sing against the Axe Gang is that every time that he's kicking people and he's just flinging them into the walls of like the area. So every time that the camera whips around, you just see guys like stuck on the concrete and like stuck on the wall like halfway through or like smashed through stuff because he's just throwing them around like rag dolls. And then so the Beast goes, "All right, I gotta fight this guy one-on-one now, right?" And they're kind of evenly matched. And then the Beast makes a mistake of catching Sing's hand. And he goes, "You can't defeat me." And then as he's halfway through saying, like taunting him, Sing just steps on his foot and breaks it. You're like, God damn! Screams and whatever. And the Beast goes, "God, I hate you," whatever. And he throws him up in the air, and Sing just flies. And then as he's flying through the air, he steps on like the wings of an eagle and uses the eagle to boost himself even higher until he gets into like low Earth orbit, and then he comes straight back down on fire, and he sticks his hand out,
Well,
and
no,
it's
first he gets up there and an
yeah,
icon of the Buddha
that's
appears.
true. The Buddha
And
shows up, and
he
he
comes to
gives
the
him he
realization
shows the
of who
fist like
he
the hand.
truly is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he shows him the hand, and he's like, okay, and he just turns straight down and begins to re-enter, and he's going so fast that he's like catching on fire because he's just re-entering into Earth's atmosphere, and he sticks his hand out, and the Beast just gets completely flattened under like a full palm. It's the Buddhist palm. It's real. He can actually do it, and he's just crushing him against the floor as like the entrance of the open of the like the main courtyard of Pigsty Alley is just getting pushed further and further to the ground with like the hand, and it's just hilarious. And he pushes him up against the ground, and the Beast is at the bottom of it, and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna have to use the stuff that I don't need to do. Like I'm gonna have to use the shit that I don't ever use." And he turns into a frog human hybrid, and he starts using like not really. It's like he just gets like the attributes of a frog. So he can ribbit and he jumps really really fucking far, which is why there's a bunch of frogs outside of his jail cell. Right? It's his style, and he does all these, which means that the the Beast is like just him, right? Like he's not even using his special powers for the beginning of like for all the fights before this. He's just really good at kung fu.
Hmm.
Right? He's not even using his style, which is hilarious to me. So, he starts like headbutting him and like throwing him through walls and stuff like that. And they're like, "All right." And Sing just the entire time, Sing is just like shooting like fists at him through his hands, and he's like throwing him against the wall and smashing through parts of buildings and whatever. And he ends up the Beast ends up going, "I submit. I can't defeat you." And then he gets on his knees, and he he gets on his knees and like, I can't defeat you." blah blah. Just please spare my life. And then as Sing goes over to say like, okay, he gets out the flower and he tries to shoot a dart into him, and Sing just grabs the flower out of his hand and just spins it away off into the distance. And he lets him live, which is like the best part. Is he lets him live because he's just like, I don't care, you can't kill me.
Well, he offers to teach him.
It's true, he does offer to teach him because he's the master now. He's the #1 killer in the world, but he doesn't
Which
kill
is
people.
That's
Although he
what's
probably
fascinating.
killed a lot of the
He
members of the
has to
Axe
have killed
Gang.
some of those goons. Yeah. The fascinating thing is that he offers to teach this guy who just seconds prior was trying to murder him,
Because he's
like
good.
with
He's a good
everything
guy.
he had too. Um,
He's the good guy. You gotta understand. Good guys don't kill
sure,
people.
he's the good guy, but he is the good guy,
He's the best guy, even.
the main guy, if you will.
The goodest guy.
He's the guy.
That should be what we should watch next.
One of the guys of all time.
Cake dies. What's the video called? Like Elijah Wood walks into a room, says cake, and then fucking dies.
Is it just that one scene
From
from
Spy Kids 3D, Game Over.
where he goes,
Cake!
and then gets fucking
Explodes.
laser beamed to death?
I'm the guy.
He's not the guy.
I
I'm
am.
the guy.
That's real cinema.
Who are you? I'm the guy. The real guy. Spy Kids 3 was my shit, dude.
I've seen
You
that
ever see?
movie a
There's
lot.
somebody out there has taken Elijah Wood's scenes in that movie and put it in for some of his scenes in the Lord of the Rings. So, like whenever he goes to throw the ring in, you know how he has his moment of doubt.
Yeah.
That's where it goes cake, and he gets electrocuted.
See, I like the fact that Spy Kids 3D, the whole shtick of it is like Junie is obviously supposed to be like the messiah of the video game, and he goes through and they're like, well, is he really? And he's going through all these troubles to figure out whether or not he actually is the guy, and then the real guy shows up, and then he dies 30 seconds later. And
Yeah.
like Judy goes through the whole film and he's only got like 4 HP, and then the guy shows up and he's got 99 and he dies. Like, how do you? He's not very much the guy if he dies that quickly. He doesn't want to be the guy, I guess.
He was bored. Game
That's it.
over.
That's a good joke, and none of you got it. Anyway, have you guys ever played?
didn't-
You guys know what I want to be the guy is?
No.
Yeah.
Really? That's interesting. I want to be the guy is like the first ever like rage game, like a game that's just designed for somebody to sit there and freak out about it, right? It's famous for like the first level of it is like you're walking down this road and there's like grass in the background that are like little spike, like it's just literally like a bunch of triangles, right? And if you step onto the grass, it kills you instantly.
Oh boy.
So you have to jump over the grass, and then once you jump over the grass, an apple falls out of a tree and kills you. Like the apple is right under where you're supposed to land after the jump, and it's obnoxious. And you have to go through the entire game, and there's an achievement for doing it without dying once, and it's absurd. I have no idea if I want to be the guy the movie the game is on Steam or not. I imagine it's not. That's depressing. I typed in I want to be the guy and it just gave me a bunch of porn games. That's cool. All right. Anyway, so
That's a Steam moment.
that is a Steam moment. So okay, so Sing defeats the beast, and the next scene is Sing and Bone working in, or no, Sing now owns a candy store, right? Because the girl that he saved back in the day was eating a lollipop, and that's like the way that she tries to get him to remember him when he robs her earlier in the film. Then he makes a candy store in hopes that she'll show up and talk to him, right? Well, I guess not talk to him because she can't
Bold
do
choice
that.
of words
It's a
there.
very bold
Yeah.
choice of words. Come back and meet him, I guess. So it's instead of him being the #1 killer in the world, which he definitely could be, because he's the good guy. He's Willy Wonka, but like
Yeah.
not Timothée Chalamet. I don't know why I'm thinking about this. I fucking my parents were just watching the Saturday Night Live episode with Timothée Chalamet, and every time he was on screen, I just wanted to scream because he's not funny. He's not funny.
Who? Timothy Chalamet?
Timothy
Chalamet.
Chalamet.
Yeah,
Timothy
Timothy
Calamari.
Timothy Calamari. I watched his opening monologue. I'm like, he's not funny. Please stop talking, Timothy Chalamet. Please leave us alone. Um. Anyway, and the movie ends with like a full. I don't know if it's in camera. It might be. If not, it's a really good transition. Like cut. Pardon. Where it's Sing and the girl. I think her name is Fong, but I don't know how you're supposed to figure that out in the movie. But that's what Wikipedia says. Um. So Fong shows up at the candy store, and they do this like cool camera spin where it begins and going in the direction of Sing, and when it goes behind Sing's back, it's Fong as a little girl, and then when it goes behind Fong as a little girl's back, it goes to Sing as a little boy, and then they hold hands and they run into the candy store together, and then as the as the as like right before the credits roll, there's this kid walking outside of the candy store, and he gets approached by the guy who sold Sing the pamphlet on how to learn Buddhist palm kung fu, and he's like, "Hey kid, you have the." He gives him the whole spiel that he gave to Sing, and he's like, "You've got the makings of a kung fu master, and normally this pamphlet would be sold to you for millions of dollars, but because it's fate, I'll give it to you for $10." And the kid's like, "No, I don't care." He's like, "Well, hold on, you want to learn a different style?" And he gives him like four pamphlets, and he's like, "Oh my god."
And
And
in
they're
Plaza, this guy has been like just peddling a bunch of kids like these
He's just been
seemingly bullshit pamphlets for years,
he's
but
just
he's actually making real masters out of
every
them.
every kung fu master is because of this guy. I don't know what the joke is. I don't know. I didn't pay attention, but I don't know what the joke is that it's the different styles that all the other masters use. That'd be the funniest part of it. If like
Yeah.
this guy is the number one producer of kung fu masters in China, the main export,
And
and
he's
then
just peddling these to just random kids on the street.
it's like that. It's like that one meme format where it's like that Chinese billionaire, and she's on Joe Rogan's podcast, and it's like in America, blah 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 blah, right? It's just in China, children learn to be kung fu masters at age 6. Some guy just hands him a pamphlet for $10.
He needs the money.
He needs the money so he can keep training masters. Um, yeah, and then it rolls the credits. So that's like a poorly explained. The issue with this is that it's a very action-heavy movie, and you can't really do that well without going beat for beat, which would be an absurd thing to do.
Right,
Um,
especially in a movie that is in subtitles, so you're missing the key elements of witty dialogue in its natural language.
yeah. Anyway, so that was Kung Fu Hustle, poorly explained. Uh, how did we like the film? Because let me tell you, I watched this film the first time in the Bahamas in somebody's house that was renting out to us as an Airbnb, and I was like watching a movie, and we had been. I was right before I went off on my sea based trip, so everybody there had been awake for over 30 something hours with like very minimal sleep on the plane rides. So we were like, we can't go to sleep until it's night, or else our sleep schedules get messed up, right? Which really it shouldn't, because we're only on East Coast time or whatever. But you don't want to go to sleep at like 4 in the morning and then be tired for the rest of the trip. Um, Not 4 in the morning, 4 in the afternoon. So we're like, let's just watch a movie. So we're scrolling through on the Netflix account that's at the Airbnb, and I'm like, oh my god, that's Kung Fu Hustle. And you're like, what? And it's like, that's a good movie. And I go, are you sure? And then I go, like, are you sure? And I go, yeah, I've never seen it, but I know it's a good movie.
There.
So we turn it on, and then two of the people in my group just immediately fall asleep because they're so tired. But I ended up watching it with another guy, and we're like, this is awesome. Like, I don't understand what's happening, but this is awesome. It's like I liked it then, and then I forgot most of what happens in it until like later, and it was a wild time. I like this movie a lot. That's why I picked it. But I realize now that I probably shouldn't have picked it because it's such a hard movie to do. But whatever.
It was a very enjoyable movie,
It's
It was
nonetheless.
a
awesome.
good movie.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I'd
Okay.
say it was a really, really fun movie to watch, but not a really fun movie to do a podcast
No,
about.
not at all. Which you
Yeah.
probably shouldn't have done it this way. But whatever. It was fun to watch. Um. So what was your letterbox review, Keaton?
I don't know.
Let me find it.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. But yeah, holy shit! If I gave Kung Fu Hustle 1 star for every time it made me say holy shit, I'd probably have to give it 100 out of 5 stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty good. You gave it a 5 star review, just pretty good. Uh, not bad. Yeah, no,
Can't complain.
Kung Fu Hustle's great. Connor, what did you like about Kung Fu Hustle?
I like the fact that at no point, see, I was kind of worried that since it was a movie I'd have to be reading subtitles about, that I'd lose. I mean, I know I did lose something, but I was worried it was something that, I'd actually genuinely miss out on. But even then, throughout the entire movie, there was one moment where I decided I wanted to get dinner, so I
Yeah.
had to have you guys reading it for me, and it was nonsensical. But coming back, I didn't feel like I missed anything that significant. There was no point where I was like, okay, if I looked away for 10 minutes and came back, I would somehow know what was going on in the plot. Which for once is a good thing. It was about like how to put it. It was like abstract art if abstract art were enjoyable. I had no idea what was going on or what the motivations of these characters were, just that they had motivations and it was happening.
Pretty much.
God. Okay, Spoid. How did you like the movie?
I really liked it. It was I like that it was like it was jumping back and forth between like a serious and an unserious movie. Like it was having some unserious premises, but it was taking himself seriously in that regard. Like that sequence of the Axe Gang where like showing all the crime scenes and they're just fucking dancing. I fucking love that. It just
That was
felt
really
so
good, yeah.
random, but completely something I would absolutely believe
I
that
mean,
gang would do.
like the hardest part of the film is when the guy's begging for his life and he just
Yeah, and he's
sashays
just
over to him.
strolling up and dances up to him.
Well, it's literally just that one meme,
Yeah,
which
but
is why it's so good.
Yeah.
um, I mean, Keaton kind of already said it, but how much did you like the film?
I mean, yeah, I loved it. I think it's really just nonstop fun. And that's
Yeah,
what I want from a movie. And just the action, all the fight scenes are just really well choreographed and they managed to make it like really bizarre and entertaining at the same time. And even the CGI, which was a little cheesy, was just really fun.
Yeah.
CGI like added to the film, and despite the fact that it was really really bad.
Yeah.
Like it, I think I described it after we were done watching as like it's like the good version of like bad Indian CGI,
Yeah.
where that like takes you out of the film and it's still funny. Like this is funny and it keeps you in the film,
Yeah.
and that's what makes it great. Um, but yeah, uh, all right, let's spin the
Alright.
wheel.
We're doing the wheel already?
I mean, what do you mean already? Let me check. Yeah, we're an hour and 12 minutes in.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah,
Just cut it now, actually.
spin the wheel. No, don't give me again. Oh shit, it's
Respin
Spoid!
the wheel.
Okay.
Oh, Spoid, you know what
Uh,
you have to say. You know what you have to say, right?
I don't know.
No, this is Spoid's decision. Don't influence him.
You have 10 seconds. 10, 9,
Um,
8, 7.
Sharknado 4.
God damn
Oh
you.
god!
God damn you.
I want to preface, I have never seen it.
No!
Have you seen any Sharknado movies?
I've seen the first one when it was very, like, the year it was released.
It should be noted I've never seen a single Sharknado movie. So
What?
Sharknado 4, are you sure you want to pick
I'm
this?
pretty
Yeah, I
sure.
want the time travel one.
No, that's the fifth one. No.
Okay, then the fifth one.
Oh no!
Oh,
It's like
Connor, I
the
just saw.
worst one too. It's not even fun.
No.
How could you?
No.
How could you? No, wait, hold on. Because it's
I could think of a serious answer,
no,
but
it's Sharknado, Sharknado 2, the second one, Sharknado 3, oh hell no, Sharknado 4, Sharknado the Fourth Awakens, Sharknado 5, Global Swarming, and the last Sharknado, It's About Time.
I think I've seen bits and pieces of the third one, but
I have seen the
I've
third one and it's stupid.
Is that the one with the cookie cutters and the subways of New York?
No, that's a shark. That's Sharknado 2.
And then it was Sharknado 2 that I saw bits and pieces of.
It's where they
Why
have
do you
the.
just know this?
Because I've seen them all,
Why?
and none of them are good.
So, Spoid,
Spoid,
do you
I
want the
beg you.
I will pick a different thing. I just need to think because I don't know.
No, there is a part in Sharknado 2 where they're like trying to cross the streets of New York, and they're like, it's like everything's flooded, right? And they're standing on top of
I'm not doing
like
that.
a cover like a outdoor cafe, and you're like, how are we gonna get across? And the protagonist and his friend look at each other and go, Frogger! And they start jumping across cars that are being moved across the waterway. And you're like, what is happening?
It's just like
Uh,
our favorite movie, Pixels.
I want. Okay, Human
Kenny.
Centipede.
Adam Sandler.
No! I will not be watching Human Centipede if that's what you're actually choosing.
Yeah,
Nah,
I don't think we want to watch that.
I don't want to watch Human Centipede.
Welcome to the third episode of the Shungoku Satsu Film Club podcast, the one where we sit there for 40 minutes trying to figure out what movie we want to watch.
Damn, there's so many movies.
There are
Why
a
can't
lot
they
of
just stop making
movies.
movies?
What if
You
we
wanna
just
look at the
pause?
movie
Time to
list?
catch up.
You wanna do a
There's a
spin?
list.
Can we do a spin?
No,
Okay,
I must think.
you wanna think?
Yeah, because there's a
Uh,
lot of movies, and I've seen a lot of movies.
If we don't
Connor?
like the next two you
Yes.
suggest, then it's gonna be Sharknado 5.
Then yeah, there we go. Connor, I need you to go onto the movie list and I need you to cross off Kung Fu Hustle off of it.
I didn't know that was it on there?
It's on there.
Okay.
Ant Bully. There.
The Ant Bully.
And
Ant
bully.
Bully. Yep.
All right, there we go.
I fucking loved that movie as a kid.
Have you seen it since?
Nope.
Incredible.
Let's see if it holds up.
All right. So now we're watching the Ant Bully. Come back next time. Who I'm referring to is me in probably 6 months or
No, you
40
should come back to this
years.
video sooner rather than later.
That's true. Come back
Just
next
because you
time.
missed a decent portion of the
That's true.
dialogue.
It'll be new for me. All right. Come back next time for the Ant Bully, which is who even made that movie?
No clue.
Jim Carrey.
I think those fuck, who did it? That's a good question.
What studio? I have no. It just says
Columbia.
John A. Davis, produced by Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
What?
What the hell?